Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's done. And thanks to the power and skill of the United States Armed Forces, today Iran has no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft capacity, no missile launches, no manufacturing, and their leadership has been obliterated. And for the first time in 3,000 years, we are finally going to have peace in the Middle East. We're going to have peace in the Middle East.
President Trump declaring the beginning of an era of peace for the Middle East as he hopes to work toward that historic agreement with Iran. You know, we're in that 60-day period now where they've got to come to the table about nuclear weapons and not having them and inspections and all of that. Tensions, though, on the ground are pretty high as the country draws a new hard line on the Strait of Hormuz. That radical Islamic regime has now said safe passage is only possible through the Strait of Hormuz through routes that it has designed and that it still plans to impose what it calls maritime service fees. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
We've reached a point now in this where you're hearing, for example, the Iranians will say one thing, but then something else is actually happening. So here's what I would tell everybody. It's now obvious to us, and I think should be obvious to all of you, that the Iranian system is going to continue to produce all sorts of maximalist rhetoric.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is in the Middle East. Trey.
Harris, good morning. Shipping data tracker Kepler told Fox Business 69 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday, marking a new record since March 1st. This does come as America's top diplomat, Marco Rubio, is in the Middle East meeting with counterparts about the war and also keeping the strait open and toll-free.
What we're interested in is not their press conferences. What we're interested in is whether or not ships are moving. If ships are moving as they should be moving, then that's what we're going to judge and that's what we're going to react to. If, on the other hand, this rhetoric is backed up by actual ships being threatened and ships are not moving, that's a violation of the agreement and we're going to have a problem with it.
Technical discussions between the United States and Iran are set to resume next week. According to the Pakistani Foreign Ministry, the ceasefire between the two countries is moving forward while the focus remains on the strait and Iran's nuclear ambitions. On Wednesday, President Trump met with the NATO Secretary General at the White House to discuss the war with Iran and other pressing topics such as Ukraine. Next month, President Trump will travel to Turkey for the NATO summit, but says that European allies let the United States down on the issue of Iran.
We were let down. We didn't need help on this at all. We demolished them in literally the first week. But it would have been nice if they would have said, we'd like to help. I was disappointed with Italy. I was disappointed with the UK. He's now gone. We're disappointed with Germany and France. We're disappointed with most of them. Spain is a horror show.
We're also tracking the situation in Lebanon. Those diplomatic talks between the Israeli and Lebanese governments do continue, aimed at disarming Hezbollah. The Iranians continue to comment on the situation, saying they are demanding that IDF troops withdraw from southern Lebanon. Harris?
Trey, thank you very much. In focus now, Victoria Coates, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump. She is also Vice President of National Security at the Heritage Foundation. Look, I think for many in our American public, there might be this question of how do we know when we're making progress?
Well, Harris, great to see you. I think we know we're making progress when we have actually ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz, which we have. The secretary was absolutely correct when Secretary Rubio said that's what matters, not what they're saying on their X feeds, which are entirely propaganda for external consumption because their own people can't see X. So this is all posturing around the negotiations. But what we're seeing is more and more ships come out, and commensurately, oil is around $70 a barrel, which is right in the sweet spot for the United States consumer. Now, on top of that, what are they doing in the region? Are we seeing missiles going at Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Riyadh and Doha and Jerusalem and Tel Aviv? We haven't seen a lot of that recently. The only active player appears to be Hezbollah, and they've also seemed to quiet down. So I think the president is getting results, both in terms of reestablishing free passage through the strait and through diminishing, if not ending entirely, Iran's ability to project power beyond its borders.
Yeah, it is interesting that the original progress was really around nuclear weapons and not letting Iran get that. And they actually have put the Strait of Hormuz right in the middle of everything right now. So we'll also look for some progress on the front of how do we make sure that those inspectors are on the ground and that we're part of that. I mean, there's still a lot to get done here, but I hear you on the Strait. I mean, that's helping the entire world. I want to get to this because you mentioned Lebanon and Hezbollah. Foreign policy experts are advising the Trump administration to continue to carefully watch Iran's behavior over its terror proxy, Hezbollah. Let's watch.
Israel is fighting Hezbollah, a major terror organization. I will go one step further and banging it into people's heads that actually Israel is fighting Iran's regime in Lebanon. Right. It just happens to be a different location. The Iran regime will do its best to separate itself from Hezbollah, but at the same time, protecting them at the MOU. It's the #1 prized possession. This has been their proxy since 1982. They have given them billions. They have given them hundreds of thousands of missiles, and they will continue to.
Victoria, I know that Lebanon, at least through Trey Yingst reporting in the last 3 or 4 weeks, has been wanting to meet and have good talks with Israel. But they don't control Hezbollah in their own country. Who does? How does it work now to get them to stand down?
No, they don't. And I would differ a little bit with my dear friend Lisa Daftari to say that, yes, Hezbollah is really the last effective proxy they have left. Hamas has been so severely degraded, and the Houthi have played no role whatsoever in this war. Hezbollah is kind of it. But the other piece of that is the nuclear program. I didn't mean to downplay that in my first answer. That's the real focus of the hard negotiations that are going on now. But if what President Trump manages to do is get to a resolution to Lebanon that allows for the further degradation of Hezbollah in what you might call an orderly fashion, without too much violence, without too much disruption to Lebanese society, while he is negotiating for the effective end of the Iranian nuclear deal. I mean, that's the double play here. And as my favorite Phillies pitcher, Aaron Nola, always says, double plays are the best. You're getting 2 for 1. And if you take those two things away from the Iranians, then, they become a nuisance. And it then becomes a question about how they might choose some new leadership so they could have a better life for themselves. But I would see that as 2 things going on.
Yeah, that point about new leadership. I mean, there was no way we could ever really be in it to make sure that the regime got changed the way we want it. We don't live there. The people have to choose that. But what you're saying is from the inside out, a 2-for deal would really do it. Do we have enough leverage with Iran to make that happen, the 2-for?
Well, I think we do, for the reasons the president was laying out in the clip at the front. There's damage done to Iran here they can't reverse. They know they are powerless against the United States and Israel, and either or both of us can go back in whenever we want. They know they've shed 3 million jobs. They know their industry is destroyed. They haven't had a functioning stock market since March. So they may sell a couple of barrels of oil to China. It's not going to save them. So this I would see as a way to kind of manage a transition for Iran rather than to send the country into chaos.
Victoria Coates, we learned so much from you. I appreciate your time always. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.